Okay, so it is finally out. Batman Volume 3, Death of the Family. So many good things to say about this, and a few negative things that don't actually have to do with how awesome this book is. It's more like the way they put it out. But first, let's take a look at the book really quick, because if you watch my reviews, you know my biggest complaint is that they don't do enough with Under the Dust cover and all that stuff. Um, And what they did here, it basically is what they did with the issues themselves, where if you would open them and they would have the mask, and under it would have like Batman or Harley or somebody else under there, depending on whose issue it was. And they basically did that here, which is amazing. Because first of all, this is a white, which is different than Batman books are usually black, at least the New 52 ones. But you can see here, you open it, and there's what is basically beneath Joker's face, which is amazing right there. That, as the hardcover, is just awesome. Like I said, it's white, so this book will stand out in your collection when you put it next to Volume 2 and 3, as well it should stand out in your collection because it's such a freaking great book. And in the back, we have the same thing going on here, but instead of Joker's face, we have Batman, and that is just amazing. Um, so Death of the Family was the event happened last year, I believe, and it took over almost every single Bat book except for Batwing and Batwoman, who really have nothing to do with it. I mean, they do, but they slightly have nothing to do with the real Batman universe. They're just kind of there. Um, Art-wise, it's the same artist. I would say his name, but I do not want to mispronounce it. But the Joker returns, and I don't want to spoil too much of this story. Um, but he returns, and right off the bat, offs a whole bunch of people in the GCPD. He goes in there, takes the power out, as you can see here, and gets his face back, which, if you don't know, he cut off his face back in issue 1 of Detective Comics. So if you get Batman Volume 1, it's not going to be in there. You have to get Detective Comics Volume 1 or just issue 1, which I'm sure there's a whole bunch of reprints. And everybody's basically terrified because it's the Joker. What isn't there to be scary about? And this book really shows how uh, insane he can be and how insane he really is. He starts reenacting a lot of his old heists, you could say. His old appearances, starting with the Ace Chemical, which, if you're reading Zero Year, you will just have read that, and you would basically have just read his origin. That probably won't be until volume, I would assume, 5, because there's a couple more issues. I think there's like 4 issues maybe after this before they start Zero Year. So I'm sure there's going to be one more volume in between before Zero Year starts. And, Harley does make an appearance. Everybody, Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin, obviously Robin, they all make their appearances. But you have to really read the tie-ins for that. And that's where the negative in the only thing I have with this to say is. And without spoiling too much, Alfred does get kidnapped, which is a big thing. This happens, I believe, in the second issue. Could be the first, actually. They do have the splits in it, unlike in the Joker thing, where you could see it has the actual splits where this is a different issue. And it does have these backup stories that were in that issue, which is kind of weird because if you read it in order, you like if you're reading this scene right here, which I'm not gonna say what's going on, but if you read this scene and then you go to the next page, and you're reading right here, and then all of a sudden it's here, and then the Joker's there, and you're like, what's going on? That's the backup story, which I kind of wish they had like a little split there to like let you know it's a backup story. Because if you read from right here, we're back to where everything was a few minutes ago. So they could have probably done a better job with that, but otherwise it is a really good book. Basically, the whole premise story, the main story here is where's Alfred, kind of, and protecting the rest of the Bat family, and the Joker reveals something that everybody else is kind of worried about. Um, Aside from that, my only complaints are the way they put out this book and the Joker book, which I did a review. I think I already said this. I did a review last week. Um, the continuity, that's I think that's the right word, is off because the Joker book came out before this, which this I believe is actually officially out Wednesday on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, but you can get it at a comic book store right now anyway. Um, I don't know about in stores actually. I've never checked in stores the day they release in comic book stores, but they might have them. I don't know. Anyways, um, the continuity is the Joker book has the last issue of this. This has the last issue in it too, and it also has the epilogue in there, which I believe this doesn't have the epilogue. Um, Kind of weird now that I think of it. But see, the way you should be reading this is really in order to get the full story from it. I mean, you could read just this. This by itself is amazing, but once you get to the last, uh, yeah, I guess it would be the last, second to last issue, you're kind of gonna be like, wait, what happened if you didn't read any of the tie-ins? So what I would say is if you want to read it in order, like you don't have to do this. This is my personal opinion. I would say read issue one, maybe issue two of this, and then start on the Joker book up until you get to where it says finale. Stop there, don't go any further, and then read the rest of these. Even though actually, now that I think of it, it's just way the continuity is way off because really you want to stop. Because see, there's the Harley Quinn stuff. There's the what I showed you here with Harley in it. In her own issue, you would want to read that before you read this, which I guess would be right after issue 1 here, or issue 13. Right, it's 13. I believe it's issue. Yeah, issue 13. So Harley's thing would be after issue 13, and then you would read this issue 14. So that's the only problem is if you want to read it in true order, I would suggest looking it up online or something because it's not in it's not in order, and that's my only complaint here. In a way, I feel like they should have just released a giant book with everything in it. Like all the stuff in the Joker and all the stuff in the Batman volume, and just made it like a massive book. I think that would have probably been better. But I can also see why they would just do this way. If you don't read Batgirl, if you don't read Batman and Robin, you just want the tie-ins. There you go. There are your tie-ins. Here's the main story. But because it lives together as one giant story, it's like I said, to enjoy the full thing, you want to read both. Otherwise, if you don't want to spend the money, which is completely understandable, because who does? Uh, this by itself is amazing. You can read this and then read the Joker book, in the future, and still, pretty much get the story. I would say try and look up like a checklist or something online to get it in order. But otherwise, really good story. Definitely recommend this for any Joker fan, Batman fan. It is just that good. Nothing bad to say about the story at all. And, by itself, this hardcover is amazing. And like I said, I just really love the whole transparent dust cover, which feels nice. It's plastic. It's not paper like, usual ones, so it shouldn't rip too easily. And then the book is basically in that style of, I guess it would be Earth 1 books, but glossier. I don't remember those covers are glossy, but it is like a glossy finish on it, and it is really nice. Anyways, if you want to see the review for the Joker one, which I did not give it that much justice, I made it sound worse than it was, I think, in that review, but that's because I was sick and I just, but it's definitely worth it. I recommend both of them. If you want to see that review, I'll leave a link in the description, and I have the reviews for all the other ones, all the other Batman volumes have come out so far on my channel, except for the first one, which is on my old channel, which I believe the other ones have links to. And anyways, that's all I got to say. Like the video if you want, comment and subscribe because it helps. And yeah, I guess I will see you next week when I do a review on something. I don't know, maybe I won't even do a review. We'll see. Okay, bye.